What's going on? This is the House of Boom podcast. I'm your host, Eric Boom Salvery. Today, I have Showcase, who we're going to talk about Juneteenth. But before we get all in all that, how did you get the name Showcase?
So it started, I think, back in middle school.
Okay.
Like around, like I guess that's '07, '08. Me and my boys were just like trying to figure out nicknames for each other. This is around, like, I feel like Stomp the Yard, You Got Served era. I don't know. Everybody wanted a nickname.
Right.
And also the surge of Facebook and MySpace, all those different things. So it started was just like, all right, we're trying to think of different ones. It started off as Showtime from Stomp the Yard, and then I was like, nah, not original enough. So then we're looking around the classroom. I remember this vividly because it was me, my two homies, and I stare ahead and it said Showcase entrance. I was like, what about Showcase? And then it was like, okay, let's give it a try. So we put that in there, and then put that on Facebook, and my screen name is like Showcasemontana. The Montana came from Scarface. Like Scarface was my favorite movies growing up.
Word.
And then it was just like, all right, that name was just a name. I have to put some purpose behind it. You know what I mean? So I've always I wouldn't say I loved attention, but I loved putting myself front and center and like showcasing some kind of skill. Whether it would have been back in the day, performing in talent shows as like a rapper or dancing. I was even breakdancing at one point.
Right.
Or like even drawing. I was in art school, after school arts programs. Just always had a way to kind of express myself. And the further I grew and then I started taking on DJing, it was like, that name started carrying more and more weight. And then, up till now, I feel like majority of my peers or people that know me call me Showcase.
That's really dope. You're a DJ, you're a graphic artist. You just do it all. My question though, because we just found out a few minutes ago that we both went to Lackawanna College. It's a JUCO in Scranton, Pennsylvania. A few episodes ago, we talked all about that. And he's a former football player. Did you ever have a Showcase celebration dance after you made a tackle or anything like that? Because that's interesting.
I didn't have like a signature dance or nothing like that, but I was definitely big on Ray Lewis, so I always tried to like fake flex or do the little, the little Ray Lewis shuffle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was always like, I always liked the more flashy players growing up, so.
That's really dope. So my year, I played with people, Joe Cannon, what was the quarterback, Ryan Holmes or something like that. Miguel, he played tight end. A couple good guys that I just remember from Union. They came in. I think they won the state championship that year, and so they became like that opening of like, okay, Union is where it's at when it comes to football and stuff like that. So that's really dope. And it's kind of crazy how just different levels of connection. We met up the other day. We've seen each other many a times before, but we ended up having a good conversation. And that conversation rolled into the fact that you are a part of this Juneteenth celebration that's going on July 19th. June 19th. June 19th. And first, I want to talk about why Juneteenth is important.
Juneteenth is important. I mean, I feel like I just think it's a holiday that's been overlooked for way too long in America. The history behind it, like dating back to 1865, Galveston, Texas. Just finding out that these are the last few people in America that were like, oh, wow, we're free. They told us we're free. We're good to go. I think being able to declare a day, or even beyond the day, but at least highlighting a particular day of the year that we can say, we've established our independence, and there's so many different parts of the world where we've established our independence in different ways or different parts of time. I think it's super important to highlight that and rejoice in that moment. I think how me and my partners are utilizing this holiday to do many things is to, first and foremost, celebrate our excellence. With it being in New Jersey and us being very proud New Jerseyans, I think it was imperative for us to shine a light on the talent, the culture, just the energy that surrounds New Jersey. And yeah, I think we've been doing a pretty good job at it going into year 3. I mean, just kind of building this up from organic ground. But yeah, I think it's just super important, to just give our people a nice, I guess, free, uh, openly accepting space to just be themselves. And I think that's the energy that we've given off.
What were the first 2 years like of the celebration?
First 2 years, crazy, man. So I think our origin story is going to be stories we tell for years to come. I
Okay.
think, in 2020 is when we started. It was probably the craziest year for many of us just growing up. I mean, we were dealing with not only we're knee deep in a pandemic, something we've never really experienced before, but we were also dealing with countless acts of, police brutality, social injustice, basically waking up each and every day and seeing something happen that just is as detrimental to our community. And it put me, my partners, or just even my friends, more than anything, in a bad place, mentally, emotionally, and just being stuck, cooped up in the house. It doesn't make anything better.
Right.
So, earlier in the year, we decided, hey, we were speaking to some of our friends. We were like, yo, it'd be cool to throw a Juneteenth event, just something for Juneteenth. Let's start celebrating that out here. And I was like, oh wow, yeah, that would actually be dope. Then that was like January of 2020. Pandemic hit, everything happened. The idea arises again. As me and my friends, we were doing live streams to keep people entertained on Instagram Live. So many people were, and then we said, you know what, all right, let's do something for Juneteenth. It was initially going to be like just a all day live stream. We're going to play music, had to play games, things like that.
Word.
And then my friend Isaiah Thomas, he is one of the founders of Juneteenth as well. He was just like, yo, I think we should take a shot and do this in person. If we're out here protesting side by side with each other, under these circumstances, we're coming out the house. Why can't we do it in another way, under a positive light? And I was like, we were skeptical. We was like, let's take the chance. Like, we were thinking about it, but if you want to go for it, he told us, let's do it. He was like, I think we could do it at Liberty State Park. So we went there. I think we dropped a flyer maybe 10 days before Juneteenth. And I think maybe like an hour or so after, Governor Murphy, he put a tweet out, so you could find this online. Governor Murphy announced that the outside gathering ban was practically lifted. I think it was like they raised the restrictions.
Timing was perfect.
Yeah, so it kind of was like a trickle-down effect, and it made our post go viral. Like, people from all over Jersey were talking about it.
So everybody was like, oh, we outside, this is where it's at.
Yeah, exactly. So it ended up being, we were thinking a couple hundred people. It's a pandemic. Like, we're not being like, this is about to be the biggest thing ever. The hype was there. And this wasn't really under official park approval, because they were like, it's a pandemic and you can't necessarily reserve the park right now. All you can do is, like, how folk do, we just come and we sit at a table and just bring all that stuff early so we can keep that area.
Yeah.
That's basically what we would have had to done. So, anyways, with that being said, we thinking it's a couple hundred, 5,000 people show up. And it's from all around the place. Like, I'm talking from Georgia all the way up to, I don't know, Pennsylvania, whatever. Like, it was, those people were here.
Now, year 2, I was able to. Year 1, I was sitting at home, and I was like, where everybody at? And I'm telling you, it's always, with your social media, what's that? What they call it? FOMO, fear of missing out. I'm sitting up there, and I'm like, I don't miss I'm like, everybody and their mom. Like, you see one person, the next it's that trickle down effect of your feed. Like, damn, everybody, I missed it. I'm like, I don't know if it's worth me driving up there now. Probably everybody gonna be gone. But it was so year 2. My boy hit me. He's like, yo, Sunday, like, or I think it was Saturday last year. He's like, yo, you going? I was like, all right. Then he forgot to follow up with me. I said, I'm going anyways. And I went out there, and it was such a good vibe. It was definitely like just I love the fact that you just out there, and it was almost like a family reunion
Yep.
to me, where you seeing everybody you haven't seen a lot of people in almost 2-3 years, and then some people you probably didn't see before the pandemic, and then this was the place to be, and it was like, yo, I'm up there hugging people I don't even like, yo, what's up, yo, how you, and so it was definitely a vibe. Now, year 3 is going to be a little bit different. We're not going to be at Liberty State Park, or I shouldn't say we, like I'm the one running this joint, right? But you're not going to be at Liberty State Park. So what's changed, and how is this year 3 going to be better?
So I'll try to keep it rather simple. It gets really tricky, but overall, I think last year was an amazing event. Just from an experiential standpoint, I mean, if you were able to get into the park, what went down. Like, it was an amazing energy in the space, and one to definitely remember. Leaving the park, we made a mess. I would, to say the least. It kept the security, the police. It kept everybody out a little later than they expected.
Now, when you say a mess, you just mean a mess, as in, no drama. We're not talking about drama or anything like that.
Yep.
We're talking about stuff on the floor, people leaving stuff behind. Just to clear that up, because we don't want nobody to think.
No, we didn't. That's the best part about it, was because there were no arrests, there were no fights, there were no tickets given out. I mean, the cops were very cooperative and peaceful. Everybody was peaceful.
Yeah.
Because there was, can you imagine 18,000 people? I mean, there's a security presence, but there's no real, that people are bringing bottles in, smoking, drinking, doing everything, and it was all good energy. That's something special, you know what I mean? Especially of that magnitude, and we wanted to make sure that didn't go unnoticed. So, but I know that at the end of the day, like, we didn't have the proper infrastructure to keep the trash done, keep the trash upkept and everything. So we had to deal with that on the back end. I'm pretty sure if you follow the Juneteenth account, you saw that we had to crowdsource and do a GoFundMe, and we were grateful to have our audience kind of support us. And they were like, yo, you guys, look, man, you guys gave us this event. You guys should charge next year. This is like an amazing thing that you've done for us. The least we could do is donate. So we were like, all right, cool. So we going into next year, we're like, all right, we're going to go back to Liberty State Park and say we have these things set in place. We're going to have infrastructure. We're going to have sponsors to help us. We're going to do the security right. We're trying to plan this early. Later on in the planning process, I would say about maybe late February, early March, we had a meeting with, the park reps and all of the guards and everything, the security, state police, on the same Zoom call, and they're basically saying, we think that, first and foremost, this event needs to be ticketed and fenced this year. And also, we don't feel that you guys are equipped to handle 18,000 or more people anymore. We believe we would feel safe if you guys cap it at 5,000. So, from an event producer perspective, you're telling us that we started with nothing, barely nothing, and we brought out 5,000 in the first year in a pandemic.
Right.
Year 2, we triple our attendance, over triple. And then year 3, you're telling us to go back to year 1 and charge them and, cap us. We can't even go over 5,000. How does that make sense?
Right.
And what made it worse is that they said they gave us a break on the bill last year. They quadrupled the invoice from year 2 going into this year. And we're just sitting there like, okay, fellas, how are we going to come up with this money? We still fishing for sponsorship, and how we're going to make this event free. It costs money to run a festival. Right. So long story short, we couldn't work with Liberty State Park this year. Okay. Then we started looking for another park in Jersey City. We went to another park. We went to City Hall. They basically said, y'all got 18,000 people coming here? We can't do it at this park. It's not happening. We can't handle that. Right. And I was like,
I think that's fair. Sometimes, when it's in the city, it's a little bit more taxing because of traffic and all that other stuff. But
closures. Yeah, Liberty State Park is out the way. Yeah. So after that, we ended up, thank God for the people we met along the path, along the way to just planning this event. We had a connection to American Dream. You know, he said we have a lot that you guys can possibly use. It has a great capacity. Infrastructure is already set in place. They had the date open. We went and go checked it out, and he was like, "This is what we got to rock with right now. We gonna make it. It's gonna be amazing because last year we dealt with parking issues. They had to shut down the turnpike. Now we have parking decks. Like people could just come in, park their cars, walk over to the festival, no issue. We have lift drop off and pickup areas. We have like it's just way better. You know what I mean? Structurally, you know. So.
Now, again, we met the other day, and we were familiar, but we didn't know each other, and then we struck up this conversation about the Juneteenth festival. And one thing that stuck out to me, and which I was sold on, is when you said you wanted to make this event the Juneteenth event, not a Juneteenth event, but the Juneteenth event.
Yep.
What makes you? I can say that. What makes you qualified, or what makes you think? What put you in that position in your mind where you says this is what I think is possible for us?
I think it's just coming from looking at what we did in the past 2 years. Like it kind of speaks for itself to build something that organically, not aiming for a commercial look or whatever it may be. Like everything was in-house. Everything that you saw that we put out is produced from somebody who was born, raised in New Jersey. And to see us do that, stick to our guns, and then have people from all over the country come and see this. And our proof of evidence is like, it's in the pudding. We put out, even today, you can go on our story. We'd be like, hey, where did you buy your ticket from? Somebody replies, California, Alabama, Tennessee. These are like all of these places. People are like, I'm coming to, see this experience. And that's how it's been since year one. So if you have people from all over the country saying, I'm not even celebrating in my own state, I'm coming to Jersey to see what this is about, I think there's potential for it to be, a marquee Juneteenth celebration. I don't think it should be the only one. I'm not trying to compete with nobody. I think the more celebrations, the better.
Absolutely. Like everybody can't get here, right?
Exactly.
Jersey, we only so big, but yeah.
I'm like, yo, if you like this concept of like, hey, we have, I take it back to when, Andre and them said the South got something to say. I always, I feel like a lot of people from Jersey have that chip on their shoulder, like we're just in the shadow of something else, or we're the second thought. And it's like, yo, you got to understand, there's so much golden talent in here. There's so much rich culture, beautiful businesses. Like, there's so much that we have to offer. And when you come here, you're going to see exactly what we're talking about.
You talked about earlier on that you're more than just a DJ.
Yeah.
But how are you going to represent as a DJ for Jersey on this Juneteenth celebration? Because people need to know what type of vibes to expect. For the person who hasn't been to the celebration, or for somebody who's coming from California or from Alabama and all these other places, how is it as a DJ you plan to just mix this thing up? I know I've experienced you as a DJ, but this is for somebody who hasn't.
So, I mean, I like to play a little bit of everything. I know I know a lot of DJs say that, but I really do like to indulge in different genres of music. Our goal for every Juneteenth is to touch almost every aspect of the Black diaspora, like just Afrobeat, house music, funk, soul, R&B, hip hop, reggae, soca, like everything. Jersey Club,
Okay.
You know what I mean? Gotta throw that in there.
Can't forget that.
Just everything that we can, and with me and my brother Flygerian, we carefully curate each lineup every year.
Okay.
So every year our goal is to kind of like give different talents a shot to perform at this, people who are ready to perform on a stage for 20,000, 15,000 people, give them the opportunity to kind of showcase their talents. And everybody on that bill has something, different to offer. You know what I mean? I mean, our lineup this year is More Soup Please, Just Blaze, Dana Lou, Kia, BHN, Unicorn, Flygerian, I'm not forgetting nobody, DJ Lil Man, who else? Monita Kai. Like, there's just everybody on that bill is a pillar in their community and a pillar in their, in their space, in their entertainment space. I feel like they have something really special to offer. And you're gonna get everything you want at Juneteenth. That's the goal. Like, you're gonna hear all the trap, all the the sing-alongs, all the electric slide tracks, all the house music. You know, oh yeah, DJ Beloved, that's another one. He's a great house DJ.
Okay.
You getting everything, and it's for our demographic is so wide. It's like, you know, literally from, you know, this year it's 21 plus, so we can all get down how we want to get down.
Right.
But it's from that to senior citizens. You know what I mean? That's up there two-stepping.
Could you have ever imagined? Because again, we went to the lot. Scranton, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do.
Nothing.
You're there to get your grades right and play football because there's nothing else to do. And if you do anything else, it's probably getting in trouble.
Yep.
Could you imagine yourself then and then seeing yourself now, putting this together and just talk about that timeline in your head a little bit?
Scranton, Pennsylvania. I was there. I got there in 2013. Oh no. Yeah, I graduated 2013. Yep, I got there summer 2013. And wide-eyed as a motherfucker though. I was ready to play some ball. And yeah, I'm just glad I made it out of there. I was, you know, even then I had that itch to DJ. I had the itch to entertain. Right. I was like, I wanted to be, my young goal was like, I want to be in the NFL and I want to be one of the hottest DJs out there.
So if I was in the dorm and I was walking past your room, was your room like the one that always had the speakers, something bumping?
Yep,
like, yo,
the door, hold up. You know when we had off season or like spring ball season?
Yeah.
Friday nights, weekend nights when you didn't really want to go up to the University of Scranton. You wanted to stay in.
Yeah.
I would crack my door open and have my DJ speaker, not no regular Bluetooth. I had my DJ speaker, sat it outside.
Word.
And I would have my mixer and I would DJ. And like I was known for that. It's like, yo, Showcase, play the tunes tonight. Like that's how it was going. So from Lackawanna to now, it's like I always had the vision that I would be big. I always saw big for myself. I wanted to be, you know, famous, but the reason why I wanted fame is just because I wanted to impact people in a positive way. I wanted the attention so I can, you know, I can be a vessel like through my music or through my actions, through my, in a way, community service to just like serve, do the people good, you know what I mean?
Word.
To impact in a positive way. So with that being said, man, yeah, I didn't see it happening with Juneteenth, but God works in mysterious ways, man. I'm super grateful that, like, wow, like last year I could say I DJed in front of 18,000 people.
Now, you often when these big events come together, people see your face, or maybe they see Flygeria's face. They're like, oh, that's the dude. But it's a whole team around you helping you get this done. Here's a time to just allow that, because I always think it's important to let people know you do have a team, and maybe anybody that you want to shout out right now that's helping you in the fight, because we're not finished yet. We're still putting this together, not we. I keep saying we like I'm in this, but I guess I'm a little part of this. But in putting this together, as far as your team.
I gotta shout out my co-founders, Isaiah Thomas or Zay Black, Flygerian, producers Devin Cobbs, Jules, my production assistants Henry, Shakir, my boy Shout. There's so many people involved, man, but I really want to thank them. At least that was like the nucleus of this for the past 2 years, to kind of, you know, be the driving force in making it what it is.
Now take us inside of a meeting that we, because I'm sure everybody comes to the table with good ideas, and doesn't mean that it's not all good ideas aren't acceptable, but take us inside that meeting, that what it's like to put something like this together. Because you talked a little bit about it, but I mean, here's a space to do it, like, because people really need to understand. The reason I want y'all to understand is because when y'all go there, I want y'all to have fun and act right, but understand there's a real effort behind putting something like this together.
I mean, there's a lot of tough conversation need to be had, but you know, that happened for like the first 2 years. Everybody's butting heads on what this needs to be or how this needs to look, and then we all kind of come to a conclusion and be like, this is what works best. When I tell you about the organization side, it's like this year is probably our hardest year planning, because before we was like the only thing in our way was really the COVID restrictions, right? This year is like, all right, we did 18,000. Now we got to figure out how we can make 18,000 look even better. You know what I mean? Or how can we grow it? And then we sit here thinking about sponsorship. So now we talking to different sponsors. This is the part that I'm still looking for advice in regards to like people who do festivals. Like, you go into these different companies like, hey, we have this event, it's growing, it has this many people, you think you got everything right, and then you start the conversation, you give them an ask, hey, we want X $1,000. Some ghost you, some people say, hey, we'll let you know, and you just waiting. And then now you got to start thinking about, all right, we need to put a deposit down for fencing. We got to put a deposit down for porta potties. These are the shit that people are from that just look at a flyer. They're not thinking about that.
Right.
You know, they just thinking like, oh, we just want the vibes. We got, you know, how much it takes to put into to create that vibe.
Right.
And we just, you know, it's like dealing with like talking to the state police, talking to the mayor, you know, dealing with different things like that. It can get very tricky and very stressful, because even with us, we're like day after day or weekly after week, you stay here in meetings with Liberty State Park or this people or that people, and you like, all right, we made development here, and then something else comes up, a roadblock comes up, you can't do this. How are we gonna work around that? Like, even with American Dream, and I'm so grateful that they took us in, because this is gonna be a really good event. Like, it's gonna be really fire. It was like, okay, y'all want to sell alcohol, right? How can you sell alcohol if you got your demographic says 18 to 65, right? You're gonna have to cut that demographic a little short, right? You're gonna have to make it 21 and up. You can't have underage kids in the same grounds while you taking in alcohol. So it's like, but we want this to be a family event. Well, it's still gonna be a family event. You just can't have the youngins out here like putting you at risk, because now the difference between this year and last year is that this is a licensed like company now. This is a legit business.
Word.
Something goes left, that's on us, and you know that's the moves you got to make to ensure that this goes for a long time. We do not want to be the Juneteenth legend that once was. We want something to be like, all right, I can bring my son here, I can bring my daughter here. Like, that's how long we thinking. You know what I mean?
And, you know, it's interesting that that's a roadblock or something that you had to think about, because I was going to ask, is this a family event, or is it just like, you know, grown and sexy vibe in the sense of
no, this is an outdoor, like, we are bringing the cookout to y'all this time. You know what I mean? Y'all last year and the year before that, y'all brought the cookout to us. We bringing it to y'all this time.
Okay.
We have a vendor village, which is basically going to be a black flea market. It's going to have a ton of a plethora of food vendors, plethora of different clothing, wellness, skincare, anything you could think of.
Am I allowed to bring my own food if I wanted to?
No, we gonna have that food. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So this year is like, you know, last year we tried to start it off. We had a couple food trucks, but we thought we might have a couple thousand people. We had 18,000 people.
Right.
That takes a lot of food trucks to feed 18,000 people.
It does.
So we accommodating that this year.
Okay.
We have this year, the big difference is like, you know, people were coming in with their own bottles and this and that, which also leaves a large trail of, you know, trash.
Right.
And also you can't account for like, this is how much alcohol was consumed today, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have, you know, shout out to Red Bull, they're sponsoring us. They're providing us with a huge bar, 200-foot bars to be exact. So people will be able to get their drink on with no repercussion. They're going to vibe out how they want to vibe out. That's the kind of vibe we want to give y'all, you know what I mean? It's like, it's tough. There's no real festival anywhere that you could bring your own bottles.
Right.
But one thing that you can do is you could, you know what I mean? You can bring that to you because it's legal now.
Right.
That's a good part.
Okay.
And we're going to announce our sponsor soon in regards to that as well.
Okay.
But yeah, we're bringing that cookout vibe to y'all, man. We're going to have like turf laid out and everything so people can dance and they can sit if they want. We're going to have a rest area. We're going to have hydration stations because it's going to be hot.
Anything for tents, or you can bring your tent, like, sit out?
So, no, you can't. No tents, but we're going to, like I said, we bringing it to y'all.
Okay.
So we're going to have the rest area you have is pretty huge where people can, you can either sit on the floor, sit on the chairs.
Okay.
We have high tables.
Okay.
We have, they're going to have umbrellas. Like, so you can have, there's
shade. A little shade.
Exactly.
We in June now.
I know, right? Yeah. So, you know, y'all going to be straight. It's, you know, this is just reminding people we're in year 3,
yeah,
and we're learning as we go, but we're learning very fast. of how to accommodate our people. We
Gotcha.
listen. We keep our ears wide open. We're not turning the cheek to anyone. If anybody has a question, a concern, we answer that question or concern because we're nothing without them. You know what I mean? This is an event for the people. You know what I mean?
So, I think we pretty much got the fullness of the event, fullness of
yeah.
of what this Juneteenth event is going to be, and just what to expect. Should we expect any surprise celebrities or anything like that?
Yes, I would say that you can definitely expect that.
You can't say who it is, but
I can't say who it is, but it's some of y'all favorite artists. I'll tell you that.
some of your favorite artists are going to be there.
Yeah, our goal is like that's the reason why we'll probably never announce that is because
We want
it's
the
about
focus.
it's about the community talent first.
Okay.
Y'all they get the spotlight more than anything. You know what I mean? I was joking around. I was like, I don't care if Beyonce coming out or something like that. We not gonna announce it until you buy that ticket, you come and see it for yourself. You had to be there, type of situation. You know what I mean?
Beyonce coming, y'all. No, I'm just playing. So, I guess my last question is, and we're gonna close it out kind of how we started off. When did Juneteenth become important to you? Now, before you told about why Juneteenth is important, but why did it become important to you?
I think back in 2020, like I said in the beginning, I was in a very dark place. And I remember my brother, or my really good friend, Justice, from Brown Mill, he was the one who really put that bug in my ear in the beginning of 2020. And, when that thought kind of arose again, it was like, man, as someone who DJs, someone who throws events, it was like, this is an opportunity to, I guess, further popularize a black holiday. And I mean, I'm very like pro-black on everything. Like I do, as a student at Rutgers, I took as many Africana study classes as I possibly could. I really cared about just kind of learning, being a Haitian American kid, just like learning my African American roots and also my Haitian roots, and being able to just like, implement that or just in any way I possibly can highlight like that I care about our culture. And it's great that I had friends around me who were on the same wavelength that were able to do that. It became important to me around that time, and I'm glad it did, because I think we're now in position to like, I know it's like, wow, look in these past 2 years, right? After 2020, in September 2020, it became a state holiday. 2021, it's a federal holiday. It's like, wow, that's like perfect timing to us, you know what I mean? And wouldn't have it any other way. I'm very happy that we were somewhat ahead of the curve in our region, at least. And people really care about it. And it's like, it's just giving us another opportunity to just be us, have fun, be free. And that's like the ultimate goal, you know what I mean? We have in our mission, it's like, we want to enlighten, we want to uplift, and we want to unify. And we're doing exactly just that.
Doing exactly just that. So on June 19th, come correct, come with your energy right, come ready to mingle, hug people you don't like, throw your trash away, and understand that Juneteenth is such a special event. The Juneteenth celebration is year 3. This is something that I'm going to fall behind it and say this is the Juneteenth celebration that you want to be. So I don't care where you at when you're looking at this. You are more than welcome. The tickets are where?
On JuneteenthNJ.com. Juneteenth-NJ.com. Get yours now.
Get yours now. I am just so happy that we were able to connect this week.
For sure.
That Showcase, the Lackawanna boy. I am House of Boom, or Boom, as it says on my shirt. The other Lackawanna boy. And I want to thank you for tuning in. See you on June 19th. All right. Peace.